let's listen to our final, certainly not least, but our final of the night, the next great adventure from Miss Gracie.
The smell of iodine fills the room. I can hear the soft beeping of machines in the background. My stomach growls loudly in the quiet room, and the bitter coolness of ice chips is left on my tongue. Anxiety builds up in my chest as I think about the last time I was in one of these hospital rooms. I hear the curtain slide open with a screech. 2 women in blue scrubs make their way to the side of my hospital bed and begin mumbling to each other under their breath. I hear the tight squeeze of the blood pressure cuff around my arm. The sound of the keyboard clicks as one of the women says, "Make sure you get rest while you can." The next time I look over, she's gone, but I know it won't be long before I see her again. 30 minutes later, she's back, but this time we're face to face. She speaks in a language I don't understand, something about the progress of labor, the need to speed things up, and options that are suddenly presented but feel less like options and more like fear-mongering opinion. My medication doses are now being adjusted. Her words blur together. Induction, Pitocin, cesarean, none of them make sense. I want time to weigh my options, but it feels like there's no time. Before I know it, I'm being rolled back to the OR. I lay there with the overhead lights beaming on me. The smell of bleach burns my nose. A blank stare washes over my face as I stare at the blue curtain, feeling numb and disassociated from anything going on around me, until suddenly, the scream of my baby echoed in the room. As I reflect back on my birth, guilt overcomes me because I have a healthy baby in my arms, yet I feel so empty. This is the unfortunate reality that too many women experience. This doesn't have to be their birth story, but too often it is. As a little girl, it was always my dream to work with mothers and babies. My favorite show as a child wasn't anything on Disney Channel. It was an OBGYN reality TV show that walked you through mothers' birth stories. As I grew older, my beliefs and values evolved, but my desire to work in birth care remained unchanged. My name is Gracie Geist, and I want to share with you a vulnerable period from my freshman year of high school. That year, my life was turned upside down when I discovered I was pregnant with my daughter. As I walked into the unknown journey of motherhood, I began to truly understand what it meant to feel supported or unsupported by the healthcare system. It was during this time that my own dream became clearer than ever. A situation that filled me with shame and embarrassment became the greatest blessing of my life. As I navigated this phase, I struggled to find a provider who would support and respect my choices. I knew I wanted a natural approach, and I didn't want to feel pressured otherwise. I thought I found the right provider, but during our discussion, I realized she was limited by hospital protocols. I remember telling my mom on the drive home that if we couldn't find a midwife who supported my birth plan, I'd prefer a home birth. Though said jokingly, my mom and I both knew I was serious. That's when we decided to seek alternative care. Throughout this journey, I faced desperation for alternatives, feeling isolated, frustrated, and a sense of being unheard. After an extensive search, we found a Nebraska-based home birth provider willing to take me on. She offered thorough, personalized care that made me feel valued and respected, something I might have not experienced in a clinical setting. Our relationship went beyond surface level. It's a deep bond that continues today. This experience ignited my passion for home birth midwifery. I never want another woman to feel silenced or alone in their search to find a provider that aligns with their beliefs and values. In October of 2023, I gave birth to my daughter. What many consider the most challenging and painful experience turned out to be the most peaceful day of my life. My birth experience solidified not only the field I wished to work, but also the role I aimed to play. Fast forward 8 months, I was working through my apprenticeship preparation badge. I reached out to the only midwife I knew at the time who attended home births, but she didn't seem interested in taking on a student at the time. Amidst this rejection, I felt discouraged and began exploring other options, believing they were my only choice. Nearly a month later, I received a message from a home birth midwife who had attended my mom's home birth as a student, because she felt like the Lord was nudging her to reach out to me. I assured that it was my dream job and explained the apprenticeship program my school offers. Without hesitation, she asked if we could meet to discuss further. I signed a contract with her and began working as her birth assistant just a month after our initial meeting. Since then, I've assisted in 6 home births, witnessing firsthand the empowerment, support, and control families experience when choosing a familiar and safe birth environment. Starting my apprenticeship, I had basic knowledge of pregnancy, birth, and postpartum, but over the past 5 months, I've learned immensely. I feel confident in my ability to perform life-saving skills for mothers and babies when necessary. I have led prenatal appointments, assessing client health through urine tests, blood pressure readings, family health history, bundle height measurements, vital signs, temperature checks, and evaluations of both physiological and social well-being. I've also been trained to monitor the baby in utero by locating the placenta, checking fetal heart tones, and palpating the uterus to determine amniotic fluid levels and the baby's position. Another important yet often overlooked piece of being a midwife is the postpartum phase. I deeply admire my mentor's heart for the post-birth period and support she provides. A valuable lesson I've gained through serving and having the opportunity to love on women through this part of their journey is while the physical health of the mom is important, mental health following birth tends to be something that leaves women feeling isolated. I think many of the moms in this room can attest that every mom deserves extensive emotional support as they add new life into their family while navigating the physical and mental changes that occur after having a baby. I feel very passionate that the traditional 1 6-week postpartum appointment isn't enough for women moving forward after birth. Our home birth midwifery practice prioritizes personalized care from the start, and it doesn't end there. It opens the door for women to continue support with someone they've already grown a close bond with. Another thing that I think is important to know is that home birth midwives understand that birth has risks, and we would never put a client at risk. We meet with moms monthly and weekly leading up to their birth, charting vitals at every appointment, monitoring the baby, and evaluating our moms for even the smallest indication that there could be a larger problem. We prioritize our clients' well-being, which means that if we see an issue that we don't feel equipped to handle, we won't continue care. We know our place, and we know when it's time to transfer to more extensive care if needed, which is part of what makes home birth so safe. Currently, Senator Ben Hansen, alongside many other Nebraska moms, are working to legalize having a certified professional midwife attend home births, making it an even safer option for mom and baby. After I had my daughter Savay, I hemorrhaged, and what could have been a life-threatening situation wasn't because my midwife carried natural supplements that worked with my body rather than against it. My bleeding stopped immediately because she acted quickly and had access to what she needed, even if it wasn't modern-day medicine. I can affirm that we carry something for every emergency. At this point, you may be wondering, if birth is so safe, then why do we see so many complications? While I don't have all the answers, I've come to realize that God's design is indeed perfect. However, out of love for us, he doesn't force us to maintain that perfection on earth. We often consume foods that don't nourish our bodies as temples should and introduce man-made substances into our systems. By doing so, we work against God's design, which ultimately can lead to potential for failures. I'm deeply grateful for OBs and midwives practicing in hospital settings, recognizing that we all fall short of God's ideals for our health. Understanding this complexity, I see it as an opportunity to lean in and trust the original design of the birthing process, rather than expecting the worst for every birth and resorting to invasive interventions prematurely. This is where home birth and hospital births collide, recognizing the need for both. Starting in June, I will be working full-time under the company I'm currently finishing up my apprenticeship with. And for the next 2 years, I will be perfecting my midwifery skills and learning how to manage and run the company before signing as co-owner. Looking at the big picture, within the next 8 years, it is my goal to be a CPM, which stands for Certified Professional Midwife. Although I want it to be known that I will not allow the gap between now and then to put a pause on my desire to continue learning. This fall, I'm taking a breech birth training led by Dr. Stu, and my mentor and I have made it a goal to attend 1 major birth course per year. I am also committed to attending at least 2 births a month, whether that's as a birth assistant or birth doula. I know hands-on experience and observing birth in person is where the most learning takes place. Within the next 4 years, I will confidently serve women in the home setting as primary midwife. In 5 years, it is my goal to have found a preceptor and start my 3-year process to becoming a certified professional midwife. And 10 years from now, once I have been a CPM for a minimum of 3 years and I am allowed to become a preceptor, I promise to take on a student and help them reach their goal of becoming a CPM. With the safety and well-being of both mom and baby being my priority, I want to ensure I have all the right tools in the palm of my hands before I jump into this full-time following high school. This is where I need your help. I am asking for $8,000 to provide me with the basic tools I need for my dream job. While this dollar amount will only provide me with minimum supplies, I'm committed to investing the money I make from birth to expand what I carry with me. On this slide, I have a simple breakdown of what this $8,000 will provide me with. This includes basic supplies for emergencies, charting, taking vitals, monitoring babies, basic birth needs, suturing, business essentials, immediate postpartum care, and continued training and education for the next year. In return, I promise to continue educating people and standing up for the right to home births in Nebraska. I promise to lead by example and show other young heroes that if the way to your dream isn't already paved, then you can pave it for yourself. I promise to always be a lifelong learner, ensuring that I am always prepared to provide the highest level of care for the moms I serve. I'm committed to improving my expertise in home birth by continually taking courses to keep my skills sharp. It's my goal to be specialized in unique birth situations such as breech births, twins, and VBACs that many providers don't offer out of overstepping protocols in Nebraska. I believe this is a huge gap in our care here in Nebraska for women. We know there are safe alternatives in the hands of skilled midwives for women that are otherwise not being utilized. Through investing in my education, I can maintain the knowledge necessary to support families during such a sacred life event. I'd like to thank you all, and I hope that you will stand alongside me in the expecting mothers of Nebraska as I work on getting the tools and knowledge I need to provide more women with another option.
Miss Gracie, I think I probably speak for everybody in the room when we say, we are so proud of you. Your bravery, your resiliency, your optimism, it is to be admired. And so thank you for sharing your story and that wonderful, noble next great adventure. Thank you so much for sharing that with us tonight.